CO1 to the PO1. Your CO1 is, you need to analyze the, you will be able to analyze the complex systems. Excuse me. Okay. You'll be able to analyze the complex system and understand the object model. I have mapped this CO1 to the PO2. PO2 is problem analysis. As this analysis phase will helps to solve to analyze the real world problems. Here in analysis phase, you're going to identify the classes, objects, relation between the classes and objects, and these the output or the product of this analysis phase will serve as a model to the design phase. So I have mapped this CO1 to the PO3. PO3 is a design or development of the solution. So as the solutions has to be developed to the complex problem, I have mapped to CO1 to PO1. PO1 is engineering knowledge and PO2 is problem analysis and PO3 is a design or developing the solutions. Before discussing about these topics, let me recap the previous session topic. For 10 minutes, let me recap the previous session topics. We have discussed about role of abstraction, role of hierarchy. Let us see that. Role of abstraction. Abstraction is an important and key concept of object-oriented programming. What is abstraction? Abstraction refers to the showing the necessary details while hiding all the implementation details. It will show only necessary details and all the implementation details will be hidden from the user. So that this abstraction will reduce the complexity and it simplifies the system. Let us see the examples of some of the real world examples of the abstraction so that you will understand the concept. See here, real world example. Here abstraction means, already I have discussed, abstraction means showing only necessary details. That means outer part. It will show only outer part of the system. Without this abstraction, it will be very complex. See the car, a car with abstraction. Abstraction means outer part. Inner, you cannot see the inner parts like engine, all these things you cannot see. You can see only the color of the car and you can see the steering, you can see the seats, you can see the wheels. Only these things, only necessary details you can see. So that it looks very simple, right? See, it looks very simple. If, see here, a car without abstraction, if there is no abstraction, that means all the inner details are, excuse me, all the inner details, you can see all the implementation details or all the inner parts. If you are able to see all the inner parts, see how the car looks like without abstraction. See here, see the diagram, how the car is looking like. It is very complex, right? You can see all the inner parts. You can see all the implementation of these parts. So here with abstraction will help you to reduce the complexity so that it will be very simple. See, without abstraction, the car is very complex, right? It is not simple. In the same way, if you are applying the concept abstraction to the complex systems like software, complex systems, it will be very simple and it will not be very complex, right? In the same way like car, see here. Other examples, let us see the other example. See here, another example is typing a document. When you are typing a document, you can see only the typed letters and some menus and scroll bar, all these things. You can see only necessary details. You cannot see like where the data is stored. You cannot see where the data is stored in memory, or you cannot see how the CPU is processing these data. Okay, you cannot see all those things. This is called abstraction, which simplifies the problem. Okay. Next, viewing the web page. When you are viewing the web page, you can see only some information, data, some images you can see, and some hyperlinks. You can see some links and information only. You cannot see how the binary data is transferred over the internet and how the data is processed by web browser. You cannot see all those things. You can see only necessary details. You cannot see all the implementation part. This is called abstraction, which simplifies the system. Next example. See here, next example is interface of washing machine. See the interface of washing machine, you can see some options, right? Those are very easy to operate. If you are washing some delicate clothes, you need to click some options related to that. You cannot see how the washing machine is washing your clothes and all the parts of washing machine. So this abstraction makes you very easy. Okay, the system is very easy. You will feel that system is very easy. It is not complex, but you know that the systems are very complex, right? So this is the use of abstraction which simplifies the system. So you cannot see all the complex details of the system. Only abstraction means only outer view. You cannot see all the inner implementation details of the system. Next one, role of hierarchy. Already we have discussed about role of hierarchy. We have discussed about the hierarchy. See here, every complex system will have a hierarchical structure. That means complex system is made up of large systems, right? Large components, complex system is made up of large components. Again, these large components are divided into sub components. That means decomposable into sub components. So all these components will be in hierarchical structure. When these components are arranged in hierarchical structure, only you can understand the system or you can understand the components. You can study the each and every part of the complex system when they are arranged in hierarchical fashion only. Remember that if there is no hierarchy, you cannot analyze the system or you cannot study each and every part of the complex system. When all the components are arranged in some hierarchical fashion or in some level wise hierarchical structure, then only you can understand all the parts of the complex system. And each components will interact with each other, and within the component there will be several subcomponents, right? All those subcomponents must be interacted with each other in order to see the behavior of the complex system. This is the role of hierarchy and role of abstraction. Let us see designing the complex system. What is the conception of design for new structure? See, the designing of new structure, in designing phase, you are going to design the models or some architecture, okay, in some diagrammatic format. See, in order to design the new structure for complex system, it involves a lot of creativity, lot of ideas, lot of experience, innovation, research, planning, and lot of teamwork must be there. Just like an artist do. Okay, artist will think creatively, right? Some ideas, some new ideas he will have. In the same way, just like an artist, how artists do, in the same way, the engineer must design the complex system in such a way, just like an artist do, with a lot of creativity, with a lot of new ideas, with the innovation, with some research and some with teamwork. The engineering must design the complex system just like an artist do. And the engineer must analyze the complex system. Just like what are the, in analysis phase, what are you going to do? You are going to identify the classes, objects that form the complex system, relation between the objects, and you need to find out there will be different methods to solve the problem, right? You need to identify the different methods and the best method you need to choose, and you need to choose what are the parameters must be used. So just like a scientist to do, how a scientist will do, just like a scientist will do, you need to analyze all these things. So I would like to call the engineering as a science and art. In every practice of engineering, like computer science engineering, civil engineering, mechanical engineering, chemical engineering, electrical engineering, all this involves some art and science. So I would like to call the software development as an art of solving a problem. Just like an artist to do, you need to design the system using creativity, ideas, all these things. And just like a scientist to do, you need to analyze the systems. What are the objects? What are the classes? What is the relation between them? What are the best methods to use? And what are the parameters you need to focus on? All these things you need to analyze just like a scientist. Of course, technically engineering is a applied science, but I would like to call it as a science and art. Next, design. See, every complex system, while designing a complex system, every complex system must satisfy these following. So you need to keep in mind these criteria. See here, every complex system must satisfy a given functional specification. That means while you are designing the complex system, you need to those must meet all the specifications, which are specified by the user, all the requirements which are documented. That means all the requirements which are specified by the user. It must satisfy. You must design in such a way that you must satisfy all the requirements specified by the user. Next one is conform to the limitations of the target medium. See, every system will have some limitations according to the requirements. Okay, they will have some limitations. For example, take a 3G mobile. You cannot accept or expect. Sorry, you cannot expect very high data transfer rates or very enhanced security. You cannot expect like 3G mobile, right? You cannot expect a 3G, sorry. You cannot expect 3G mobile having some higher data rates and enhanced security like 4G mobile. I'm sorry, like 4G mobile. You cannot expect, right? In 3G mobile, just like 4G mobile, you cannot expect. So there are some limitations for the target system. Next, third one, it must satisfy it must meet implicit or explicit requirements. Explicit requirements means the requirements specified by the user. So while designing the complex system, you should see that your design must satisfy or it must meet all the requirements specified by the user. Next, implicit requirements. These requirements will not be specified by the user. As a developer, you need to consider all the implicit requirements, just like performance. In terms of performance and the resource usage, you need to take care of that. These will not be specified by the user. User will only specify what are the functionalities the system will do, which type of software he needs, all the requirements he will specify. And while designing, you need to see all those requirements. That means that your design must meet all these requirements, and you need to consider the implicit requirements which are not specified by the user. User will not specify these implicit requirements in terms of performance and resource usage. You need to concentrate on performance and also resource usage of the system. Next one, satisfy implicit or explicit design criteria. See, while designing a complex system, you cannot satisfy all the requirements specified by the user. Your system may exhibit some fractional behavior, right? You cannot satisfy all the requirements specified by the user. There will be some fractional behavior of the system. So you must set some criteria, some implicit and explicit criteria, and your design must satisfy that implicit and explicit criteria, because your design cannot satisfy all the requirements specified by the user. Okay, remember that you cannot satisfy all the requirements specified by the user. So you must set some criteria and your design must satisfy that criteria. Next one, satisfies restrictions on design process. See, in order to achieve these four, see here, in order to achieve these four criteria, these four things, in order to achieve these above four things, in order to achieve this, you require a lot of manpower. It requires a lot of money. It requires a lot of tools. And it requires a lot of money, tools, infinite manpower. So there are some restrictions in design process itself. I hope you understood. Now today's topic is importance of model. in designing a complex system. First, you need to know what is model. Sorry, you need to know why we use model. You need to know why we use model. So in order to know this, first you need to know what is model. Model is a structure. Model is a structure used to express a complex system. Structure is nothing but some diagrammatic representation. Again, I am repeating, what is model? Model is a structure which is used to express a complex system. If you want to express your complex system, you need to use this structure. This is nothing but model. Structure is a diagrammatic representation. Why you need to draw the diagrams, or why you need to show your concept in the form of diagrammatic representation? Because if you explain theoretically, they cannot if you explain some theoretically, it may not be understandable, right? So if you show the same concept rather than explaining theoretically, if you show the concept in some diagrammatic format, then it will be understood better. Okay, why you are modeling, why you are using some diagrams, why you are using some structures in order to explain rather than explaining some theoretically. If you show in diagrammatic format, you can understand better. Okay, and it simplifies the reality. If you show in diagrams, it will simplify the reality, and the problem can be, your problem domain can be analyzed, and you can also visualize the system. You can visualize the system before the system is implemented. You can some visualize how the system will be. You can visualize that how the system will be and what is the behavior of the system. If we show the concept in diagrammatic format, okay, that is the use of model. What are the advantages of model? Just now I have explained. That is why we use models. That is the use of models. See the advantages: for better understanding. For better understanding. Please listen carefully, and you need to maintain the running notes. Please maintain the running notes. And listen carefully. Meanwhile, I will ask questions. For better understanding, if you show in diagrammatic format, the client or customer can understand your design better way. And next advantage is simplifies the reality. It simplifies the reality. The advantage of modeling by diagrammatic form, by showing some diagrammatic form structure. Okay, model is nothing but structure which is used to express a complex system, which simplifies a problem, and also you can analyze a problem domain. And next advantage is you can visualize. You can visualize the system. Before implementing this system, you can visualize the system, and you can understand the components of the system and the behavior of the components. This is the advantage of using model. So while designing the complex system, you will use different models at different levels. You will not use same model for all levels. Okay, in different levels, you will use different models. You will not use same model. So you need to evaluate each and every model in some expected and unexpected situation also. You must evaluate. Once you have model, that model must be, once you have designed a model, that model must be evaluated in just like in expected and unexpected situations. You must evaluate the model, so that if one model fails, you can use other model. Okay, you will use a different models. You won't use the same model in all the phases or in all levels of the design. Okay, and you need to choose best model. Among those models, you need to choose some best model so that the customer will understand what you are developing. Customer have to understand, right? Customer needs the software. You are developing the software for customer, right? You are not developing for your purpose. You are developing the software for customer purpose. So The customer have to understand what you are developing. So you need to choose the best model that simplifies a complex system. Let us see the example while designing a personal computer. Just an example. While designing a personal computer, an engineer must consider component level view and physical layout of circuit boards. While designing a while designing a personal computer, engineer must consider or must model the component level view and physical layout. Let us see component level view. Here component level view is a logical structure. Component level view is nothing but it is a logical structure which helps you to understand what are the components and what is the behavior of the components. By using the component level view, see in designing you will use only models, that they are nothing but some diagrammatic representation which is used to express the complex system. Component level view is a logical structure. Here this logical structure helps you to analyze, or which helps you to see the what are the components of the system and what is the behavior of those components. Let us see the diagram. Computer component level view. This is a computer component level view. This is CPU. This is a component. You know that CPU is again decomposed into several components, subcomponents, right? What are those subcomponents in CPU? You can see ALU, control unit, and all the registers. Okay, these are the components which are present in the CPU. Again, I am repeating. The CPU, you can decompose the CPU, central processing unit, into some small components, right? Subcomponents, ALU, control unit, and the registers. Here the execution, see here this execution unit is nothing but ALU and the control unit. Next, all these are registers. Program counter, memory address register, instruction register, memory buffer register, input output address register, input output buffer register. All these are registers. See, all these components must be communicated with each other. There must be interaction between each other. Then only it will exhibit its behavior. Then only the CPU will function. Okay, these are the components. This component level view is nothing but it is a logical structure which will specify all the components of the system, and it helps you to know what is the behavior of the components. Next, system bus. This is the system bus which the CPU and the main memory and input output module is connected. See here, system bus which is used to carry the signals or information. See here, CPU is connected to the main memory, and it is also connected to the input output module, where input output devices are connected. When you give information, when you provide through input device, you will provide some information to the computer, right? All the information which you are provided will be first, it will be stored in the buffers. Input output module will have this buffer. Later it will be transferred to the main memory. So the data is stored in main memory while CPU is processing. All currently working data will be stored in main memory, right? Temporary memory. See here, you can see how they will be interacted and what are the components present in the system. You can see, right? So this component level view helps you to analyze, helps you to understand what are the components and how the components will behave. Next. So component level view is completed. This is the diagram. This is the model. Diagrammatic representation. Next, let us see the physical layout. Just I took the example of motherboard. See here, already you know the motherboard. You have seen in IT workshop, right? What is the use of motherboard? See, without a motherboard, the components cannot communicate, right? All the components are glued inside this motherboard. This is a motherboard. Here, these are the memory slots where you will insert the memory. These are the memory slots. And this is a socket, CPU socket, where processor is inserted, and here it will contain a fan, and this is a south bridge. This is the sorry. This is the north bridge, which is responsible for communication of memory and processor. Just you know this motherboard, right? You have seen in IT workshop. I won't explain all these things. See, here you need, here this CPU socket, here you are going to insert the processor, and this is the memory, main memory, where you are going to insert slots. So these are the memory slots, and this is the north bridge, which is responsible for communication of from communication between the processor and the main memory. See, this main memory is not part of the processor. Inside processor contains only ALU, control unit, and some registers. The main memory is not part of processor. So there must be something to make communication between the processor and the main memory. Here north bridge is used for communication between the main memory and the processor. And these are the PCI slots where network cards are inserted and graphical cards are inserted. Okay, now see here, physical layout of the, this is the physical layout. First you need to represent the component level view of the computer, and next you need to show in diagrammatic format the physical layout. This is the physical layout of the motherboard. In this way you need to model. That means model is nothing but structure which is used to, excuse me, which is used to express a complex system. This is how you are going to express the your personal computer. I hope you understood. In this way you need to design the complex system, and these models which you have designed in design phase, these models will serve as a blueprint for implementing the complex system. I will ask questions whether you are listening or not. Roll number 32. Roll number 32. Who is 32? Number 32. Are you there? Number 32. Number 11. Roll number 11. Is my voice is audible to you? You're not responding at all. Number 11. Number 20. Roll number 20. Are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
See here, what is the advantage of modeling?
For better understanding.
Yes, for better understanding. First advantage is for better understanding. Okay, next.
Analyzes the problem domain.
Yes, you can analyze a problem domain. Okay.
It also simplifies the reality.
It simplifies the reality. Okay. Next number. Number 12. Roll number 12. Number 12. Please respond. Dharani. Dharani. What are the advantages of modeling? Just type your answer. Am I audible? Not responding. Number 12. Yes, we can visualize the system in better way. Before implementing the system, you can visualize the system. Next. Next advantage. You can also know the behavior of the components, how the components will behave. Okay, very good. Next number 17. Roll number 17. Who is that?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
What is meant by model?
Model is nothing but pictorial representation of anything, any topic or any idea to describe in a better way.
Okay, it is nothing but it is a structure which is used to express a complex system, some diagrammatic format. Okay. Next, let us see next topic. I hope you understood the importance of the model, why we need to model. Again, once again, see here, component level view. See component level view. Next, physical layout. No need to draw the diagrams, all these diagrams in your examination, just for understanding purpose. You can write in some theoretical format, okay? Theoretical way. No need to draw all these diagrams. If you can draw the diagrams. Otherwise, no need. Next one. Let us see the elements of software design methodologies. Listen carefully. Before discussing about the elements of the software design methodologies, first you need to know what is method. You need to know what is method. Method is a procedure. Procedure to generate model. Method is nothing but it is a procedure to generate model. It is called a method. Next, methodology. Methodology is a collection of methods. Methodology is a collection of methods which you apply across the development of the software system. Okay, again repeating, method is nothing but it is a procedure to generate a model. And methodology is a collection of methods which you will be apply across the software development process. Next, coming to methods, there are 3 different kinds of methods. Let us see it. First kind of method which will address the complexity of the software system. There are 3 methods. First one, second one, third one. There are 3 methods. First method is top-down structure design. Here, this uses algorithmic decomposition. This uses algorithmic decomposition. Already we have discussed algorithmic decomposition. What is algorithmic decomposition? Where the problem is decomposed into process. Okay, problem. The problem is decomposed into process, and each process, several process. Okay, not single process. The problem is decomposed into several process, and each process will follow some series of steps. That means some algorithm. It will follow some algorithm to generate the result. Just simple steps. It will follow these steps. Okay. Next, what are the languages that use this design? The languages that use this design are COBOL, Fortran, C language. These are the languages that will use this top-down structure design. Okay, and if here the problem is that if the application is exceeding some 10,000 or some 1 lakh, around that, if the lines of code is exceeding, then the code will fall apart. Okay, this top-down approach, this top-down structure design will not address all the issues of complex system. Again, see here, top-down structure design, this uses algorithmic decomposition where the problem is decomposed into processes, several processes, and each process will follow some steps. And the programming languages that will follow this top-down structure design is COBOL, Fortran, C. See, all the students, I request all the students to note down the running notes because I didn't mention all these things in your material. Okay. And there is no explanation of this in your textbook also. Just they have mentioned, there is explanation, but just they have mentioned this. See here, all the issues of the complex system, it cannot address all the issues of the complex system, and the lines of course is exceeding some 10,000 lines or 1 lakh lines, the code will fall apart. This is the explanation of top-down structure design. I request all the students to please note down. Next one is data-driven design. This is the method, data-driven design, which is used to map the input to the output, which is used to map input to the output. And this methodology and this method is has been successfully applied to large number of complex systems. It is successfully applied to large number of complex system, mainly information management system. Information management okay, data driven design, which is used to map input to the output, and this method is successfully applied to large number of complex system, mainly information management system. Here information management system is used for data analysis and for decision making and for visualizing the data. Okay, see here, it is used for information management system. It is used for data analysis, decision making, and visualizing the data. Next, the languages, the programming languages. 1 second. And the programming languages that use this data driven design method is like text processing languages. Text processing languages like SED. SED is a Unix utility. SED is nothing but stream editor. See, this is a data driven design. The languages that follow data driven design are text processing languages like SED, stream editor. It is a Unix utility. Next one is AWK. This is also Unix utility. AWK, which is used for manipulating the data and generating some reports. Okay, for generating the reports and manipulating the data, this scripting language is used. Okay, these are the text processing languages. A data driven design. The languages that follow this one is text processing languages. Next one is object-oriented design. See here, this top-down structure design will not address all the issues of complex system. Okay, here this approach or this design, object-oriented design, is the best appropriate for designing the complex system. Appropriate for designing complex systems. And the languages that will follow this object-oriented design are C++, Java, Python, Ada, and next Smalltalk, Visual Basic, Visual C#, etc. See, the languages that follow object-oriented design are C++, Java, Python, Ada, Smalltalk, Visual C#, etc. Okay, these are the languages that will follow the object-oriented design. And this object-oriented design is best suited for designing the complex system. Here, this object-oriented design, here it will issue some of the problems, or it can address all the issues of complex system like abstraction, data hiding, inheritance, all these things. Okay, object oriented design. I hope you understood these methods: top down structure design, data driven design, object oriented design. Let us see the elements of software design methodologies. All these methods, see here, all these methods: top down structure design method, Data driven design method, object oriented design method, all these methods will use some common elements. These common elements are notation. First common element that all these methods will use are notation. Second common element is, one second, first common element is notation, second common element is process, third common element is tools. Let us see that. Excuse me. Notation. Here notation represent the programming language. Programming language use it to express the model. Express the model. Okay. See, a notation nothing but it represents the programming language used to express the model. I request all the students to note down all these things. See, I'm writing, right? On the PPT, I'm writing. Along with me, just please note down all these things. Notation, it represents a programming language to express the model. If you want to express the model, you need to implement that by using, which you will implement by using programming languages only, you will implement the model, right? So, notation is nothing but programming language used to express the model. Next, process. Process, it's nothing but activities. Process means activities that are used to construct the model. Construct the model. Here notation means programming language which is used for expressing the model, and process means activities that construct the model. Next, tools. Tools are used to validate the software, correctness of the software. Correctness of the software. Tools are used to validate the correctness of the software so that if there are any errors and there are any inconsistencies in software, they will be exposed. Okay, once again, see the elements that are common. Excuse me. The elements that are common in these three methods, top-down structure design, data-driven design, object-oriented design, or notation, process, and tools. So please listen carefully. I will ask questions. Notation, process, tools. Notation represent the programming language which is used to express the model, and process represent the activities which is used to construct the model, and tools represent which are used to validate the correctness of the software. If there are any errors and if there are any inconsistencies in the software, those will be exposed using these tools. Next, before that, I want to ask questions. Roll number 6.
Yes, ma'am.
What are the languages that will follow top-down structure design?
C, ADA, COBOL.
C, ADA. Yes, C language is correct.
COBOL.
Yes, COBOL.
Fortran.
Fortran. That's all. Okay. Okay. Next, number 21. Number 21.
Yes, ma'am.
What are the languages that will follow object-oriented design?
C++, Java, Ada, Python, Visual, C#,
Java, Ada, Python.
Visual, C#.
Okay. Small talk. Okay. Next number 20. Roll number 20.
Yes, ma'am.
What are the languages that will follow data-driven design?
Text processing languages.
Like?
SCD, ma'am.
What is meant by SCD? Said. What is meant by said?
Stream editor, ma'am.
Yes, stream editor. Stream editor. Okay, next one. Next language. What is the next one? Next command. AWK,
Yes, ma'am.
which is used to manipulate the data and generate the reports. Okay, these are the text processing languages. Okay, next number 30, 31. Number 31. Number 31. Number 30. Roll number 30. Please respond. Number 32.
Yes, ma'am.
30. What's your number?
32, ma'am.
32. What is notation here?
Programming language to express the model.
Yes, very good. It is a programming language
That is used to express the model.
expressing model. Next, process.
That are activities used to construct the model.
Activities used to construct the model. Next, tools.
That is validate to correctness of the software.
Okay, validate the software, correctness of the software. If there are any errors and inconsistencies, it will be exposed. Okay, very good. Okay, thank you. Next, let us see the models of object-oriented development. Before discussing about that, here is a question. Is there any best model for designing? Is there any best model? Here is the answer. Absolutely, there is no best model. Sorry, there is no best method. Is there any best method to design? Answer is there is no best method for designing. But to decompose a complex system, again I'm repeating, but for decomposing the complex system, there is a best method. The best method is OOAD. OOAD means Object Oriented Analysis and Design Method. There is a best method which is used to decompose the complex system. It is Object Oriented Analysis and Design Method. This method helps you to, or it will leads to object oriented decomposition. This method will help, or it will leads you to object oriented decomposition. And this method, by using this method, you can achieve the correctness of the software. Okay, you can achieve the correctness of the software, and it will reduce the risks. It will reduce the risk, and it will reduce the risk in developing the software. Okay, OOAD is the best method for decomposing the complex system, and it will also reduce the risks. This is the best method, Object Oriented Analysis and Design Method, for decomposing the complex system. Let us see the models of object oriented development. Object oriented OOD models, object oriented development models. Let us see that there are 4 models: static model, dynamic model, logical model, physical model. Let us see each model. First, let us see logical model. This logical model will identify, this logical model will identify the classes, objects that form the complex system. Logical model will identify all the classes and all the objects that form the complex system. It just identifies. Okay, logical model will just identify all those things. And there are 2 perspectives of logical model. There are 2 perspectives of logical model. They are static model. First perspective of logical model is static model. Second perspective of logical model is dynamic model. In static model, It represents the structure of, it represents or it will identify the structure of the class, nothing but class structure. The static model will identify the class structure and structure of an object structure, and the relation between the classes and the relation between the objects. Again, I'm repeating, the static model will identify the structure of the class and it will identify the object structure and the relation between the classes and the relation between the objects. It will identify static model. Next, dynamic model. Dynamic model will identify the behavior, nothing but functionality. What is meant by behavior? Functionality. This dynamic model will identify the behavior or functionality of these classes and the objects, or class structure or object structure. Okay, logical model identifies the classes and objects, and there are two perspectives of logical models. They are static model and dynamic model. This static model is used to identify this class structure and object structure and the relation between the classes and the relation between the objects, and dynamic model is used to identify the behavior of the system or behavior of the classes and objects. Next, physical model. Here, physical model, see here, it represents the module architecture and process architecture. Module architecture is nothing but component level views. Already we have discussed. See here, these are the module architecture, component level view, which represents the logical structure of the components, right? This is the logical structure of the CPU. This is the logical structure of the main memory. This is the logical structure of the input-output module. Here, module structure means it will represent the component level views. Diagrammatic format, the components which are represented in diagrammatic format, so that you can understand what are the components or what are the subcomponents within the component, and also you can identify the behavior of the components. Once again, see the diagram, module architecture, which represents some diagrammatic representation of the components, some logical view or logical structure of the component, so that you will understand what are the subcomponents within the component, and you can understand what are the components, several components, and you can understand behavior of the components. Next, process architecture. Next one is process architecture. It represents overall architecture of the system. Okay, it represents overall architecture of the system, which includes all components of the system, all processes. It will include all processes. It will include all the users who will use the system. It includes all the users also. Okay, module architecture means it is a component level view, where the components are represented in some diagrammatic format. This is also process architecture, is also an architecture which represents overall view of the system. It contains all the components, all the processes, and all the users. Okay, it is an overall structure of the system. I hope you understood. There are 4 models: static model, dynamic model, logical model, and physical model. In next class, see, half of your first unit is completed. Complex system, the chapter complex system is completed. In next class onwards, I will start half of your first unit is completed. Please revise it. Please study the material and also the textbook. Already I have mailed it. Textbook already I have mailed it. Please refer textbook and also refer my material. You can see in Moodle. You can see in WhatsApp groups also. Already I have messaged Unit 1 notes and syllabus, all these things. You can see in WhatsApp group or you can see in Moodle. See, from next class onwards, I will start object model. Next chapter in this unit, next chapter. Half of your first unit is completed. I hope you understood the models of object-oriented development. Let me ask some questions. Number 45. Number 45. Please respond. Number 45. Forty-five. Number 40. Five not nine. 509, Ramya. Not at all responding. I need to respond, right? Number 26. Number 26.
Ma'am,
See here. What is a logical model? What it represents?
it identifies the classes and objects of the complex system.
Yes, it will identify the classes and objects that will form the complex system. Okay. What are the two perspectives of logical model?
Static and dynamic.
Yes, static model and dynamic model. What is static model?
It identifies the class structures and object structures and the
Very good.
relationship between classes and relationship between objects.
Very good. Static model will identify the class structure, object structure, relation between the classes and relation between the objects. Very good. Okay, next number. Forty-six. 46.
Ma'am,
What is a physical model?
physical model, we have module architecture and process architecture.
What is module architecture?
It refers to design and system composed of separate modules or components connected together.
Yes. What is process architecture?
Overview of system behavior, which has all user components and process.
Okay, very good. Next number. Number 60. Joshna. Number 60. Number 60. Okay, number 60. Type your answer. What is dynamic? So dynamic model. What is dynamic model? Just type your answer. Number 60. What is a dynamic model? Yes, it identifies the behavior. It identifies the behavior of the components. Very good. Okay, next class we will start object model. Half of your first unit is completed. I request all the students to refer the textbook and notes material. Okay, thank you. Joshna ma'am.
Ma'am, I will hand out the class. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, good morning, students. In last class, what are the contents we discussed? Tanmay. Good morning, Rohit. Tanmay, what are the content we are discussed in last class? Already you are maintaining the running notes. So tell me, what is the content? in last class.